right. Good evening. Welcome to the Wednesday, July 26, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. We'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. And can I get a roll call attendance, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Cooley?
Here.
Commissioner Tinker?
Here.
Commissioner Stevens?
Here.
Vice Chair Kalindra stated he would be absent this evening. Chairman Smith?
Here. Okay. The Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready to begin. That is a good song. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do you have any adjustments to the agenda tonight?
No adjustments.
Any conflicts of interest to disclose? Okay. Public comment period. Any one person may address the committee on any matter not on this agenda. If you wish to speak, please fill out a public comment form provided at the back table and give it to the committee chair or secretary. There is a 3-minute limit on public comments. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. State law prohibits the committee from discussing or taking actions brought up by your comments. Do you have any requests to speak at this time?
I have no written requests. Rudy, do we have any callers on the line?
I have no callers on the line.
Moving on to action items. Item C1, the approval of minutes. Any discussion? If no discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the minutes from 6/14/2023.
Okay. Motion and a second. Vote, please.
Commissioner Cooley?
Yes.
Commissioner Tinker?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Chairman Smith?
Yes. Item C2, conditional use permit, CUP 2023-0070, for request for a ABC Type 21 off-sale general liquor license to sell beer, wine, and liquor, and public convenience or necessity finding for Penn Mart located at the west side of Pennsylvania Avenue, north of I-10. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Katie Jensen, Planning Staff. An application for a conditional use permit for off-site beer, wine, and liquor sales at the previously approved project Penn Mart was submitted to the city on June 8th, 2023. A public notice was placed in the Press Enterprise, and property owners within 300 feet were notified of this public hearing. No comments have been received to date. The municipal code does allow alcohol sales subject to a CUP. And this property is zoned 6th Street mixed use, has a general plan land use designation of downtown mixed use, and these surrounding properties have similar zoning and land use designations. The site is currently vacant and unimproved, contains 2 separate parcels. The recently approved project consists of a retail commercial convenience store, an attached quick service restaurant, 6 gasoline pumps and 12 fueling stations, and a detached express car wash. The use proposes to operate alcohol sales from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days a week. The subject property is located within Census Tract 440, which allows 1 off-sale license based on the current population ratios. There are currently 10 off-sale licenses that are issued in the Census Tract, and a public convenience and necessity PCN finding would be required for this proposed application. ABC also recommends separation requirements of 600 feet from sensitive uses, which include schools, churches, public parks, and hospitals. Per ABC 247, ABC will also not license a new retail location within 100 feet of a residence unless the applicant can demonstrate that the use will not interfere with the residents' enjoyment of their property. This use is located 15 feet from the residential structure at 520 Massachusetts Ave. The applicant is confident that they can demonstrate to ABC that the alcohol sales will not impact the residents' property. An initial study, mitigated negative declaration, was prepared for the original project in accordance with the provisions of CEQA. The proposed project is consistent with the adopted mitigated negative declaration for the original entitlements for Penmart. The required CUP findings can be adequately met and are included in the staff report. At this time, staff has provided options and recommends that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing and either approve CUP 2023-0070 and a PCN subject to the proposed conditions of approval, and direct staff to prepare a NOD for staff to file with the Riverside County Clerk Recorder, or deny CUP 2023-0070. This concludes my presentation, and myself and the planning manager are happy to answer any questions you may have. The applicant and the business owner are also in attendance tonight, should you guys have any questions.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? Commissioner Cooley?
No, I have none. I have none.
Commissioner Tinker?
Yes, I do.
Got to turn your mic on.
One of the concerns, I keep forgetting. One of the concerns I have is we already have a off-sale liquor license across the street from this facility. Are we now saturating this area with more off-sale liquor sales than?
Yes, so in the census tract, it allows for one off sale, and currently there are 10 in that one census tract, so it is currently oversaturated.
And the 10, is that type
That's just
20
the-
and type 21?
Just 21,
Just 21?
yes.
Well, my concern, I don't have a problem with beer and wine. I mean, you can get that anywhere. I do have a problem with the fact that we now are saturating this area with off-sale liquor. And I think we need to take a hard look at this.
And actually, clarification, so the off-sale does include types 20 and 21.
All right, thank you.
It's my only concern.
Commissioner Stevens?
So you said there's one residential property within, how many feet was that? Again?
15.
15. And that resident has been notified of this, but is not here.
They did not give a response.
And the notices go to the property owner of record, so if it's a rental, the occupant would not be notified.
Got it. And the report said it won't, or the applicant said that the property will not be negatively affected. So can you expand on that a little bit? Is the appraisal of the house, or, that sort of thing, is the property value going to be down? Can you explain anything negative potential?
Well, it's for the enjoyment of the property, so if the proposed request would have a negative impact. So for instance, sometimes we see with alcohol sales, you have increased calls for calls for service for public safety. And so they would need to be able to demonstrate that there's not going to be, any kind of concerns that are going to impact that property in relationship to having alcohol sales.
Okay, so the property value is not part of this?
No, it's for the
Finding.
enjoyment. And the applicant, when they submitted their CUP for the entitlement project, they originally had requested an ABC license, and we had indicated, based on ABC's requirements, you had to be 100 feet from a residence. So at that time, they withdrew. So I know that I believe they've been talking with ABC. They can confirm that, and they're confident that they could be successful in getting ABC to issue a license because they can demonstrate that it won't interfere with that property.
Is the setback requirement for a type 20 different than a type 21?
No.
No.
And that's brought up a question. Okay, there's the same type license across the street. There's a freestanding liquor store, correct?
Correct.
Where's the next closest liquor license for the same type of sales?
We would have, let's see. I know that beyond Beaumont, so that's the constructed gas station adjacent to this, across the street from the liquor store, they were approved for their ABC license with a conditional use permit, but they haven't applied yet, so it
Type
might,
20 or type 21?
a type 20.
Type 20.
Let's see. it's
And a
going-
type 20 is beer,
Beer and wine.
and wine, okay?
Yeah, type 21 is beer, wine,
Okay.
and hard liquor. So it looks like the closest one might be Stop and Shop Liquor.
Which is also on Sixth Street. Shopping Bag, Market and Liquor is also on Sixth Street, a little further east of Stop and Shop, but still further west from Penmark.
Were there, you mentioned calls for service. Has that been an issue in other locations? Is that a concern that was brought up by staff at all?
It is a concern. So because this site isn't constructed, we don't have any calls for service, but we didn't analyze the adjacent businesses that have alcohol sales for calls for service. If that's something you'd like us to do, we could bring that back at a future meeting.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
I have one other. Is there any indication, or has anybody looked, has the owner expressed their anticipation of the percentage of their sales that would be hard liquor?
We don't have that information, but they might be able to speak to that further.
Okay.
So with that, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:12. The applicant, if they're present, if there's comments you want to make, and I think there's some questions from the commission. And then, let's see. Yeah, you do your presentation, then we'll take public comment, and then we'll do questions and answers. If you have anything you want to say. Okay, so with that, do we have any other requests to speak on this item?
I have no written comments. Rudy, do we have any callers on the line?
I have no callers on the line.
Okay, so please, if you wouldn't mind answering some questions. It's fine. If you just state your name, name for the record, please.
My name is Jiskaran Sant.
Okay, and there were some questions. Chris Stevens, you have one? No? Oh, okay. Question Cooley?
My question, do you have any expectations or any estimates of what percentage of your sales will be hard liquor?
So beer and wine is about 10%. Liquor is going to be smaller than that, maybe 2 or 3%. Yeah, we don't have any stations that have liquor right now, but this is a newer trend that a lot of the C-stores are doing with newer developments. Just because fuel volumes are decreasing, so we're trying to find ways to make up for that lost revenue.
And realizing that this is a guesstimate, if anything.
Yeah.
The success of your business is not going to depend upon receiving this type of a license, correct?
Not liquor, but beer and wine is very crucial to a C-store because that brings in a lot of customers and they buy other items along with that. So we're okay. We're open to either a type 20 or 21.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Any other questions for the applicant? Because that was gonna be my question there.
Oh, okay.
Because, I know
Yeah.
gas station, everyone you go into has got beer and wine.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily need liquor. It is a newer trend. And the reason why we're applying for it is year after year, fuel volumes are decreasing
You have to
because
hear what volumes?
fuel volumes.
Okay,
So we're not selling as much gas year after year just because of the trend toward electric hydrogen. So we're trying to find ways to make up for that lost volume.
okay.
Yeah.
And your plan has a car wash with it as well, and you've
Yeah,
got
it's
a QSR?
Yeah, that's the
restaurant,
reason for
correct?
these other types of businesses.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? No? No. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
We'll close the public hearing then at 6:15. So the application that was presented to us today was for a type 21 license. If it was a type 20 license, is that a whole new process to go through with the city and with ABC? Or is that something that can be modified here on the dais? What would be the process?
That could be modified at the dais, so you could indicate that a type 21 would be preferable, direct staff to update the conditions of,
Type 20.
sorry, a type 20, and then request staff update the conditions of approval to reflect that. So one thing that happens when ABC reaches out to us for confirmation of approval, they do ask for the conditions of approval, so we would just need to update those
Okay.
accordingly.
And the process with ABC, you guys are in plan review, I'm guessing, at this point. So you're far enough out from operations that getting a ABC permit isn't
yeah,
gonna be a hangup.
it's gonna take another year.
Right.
Yeah, because we haven't started construction yet.
Yeah.
So once we start that, then we'll apply for the license.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion here amongst the commission?
I turned my button on. I'm okay with a beer and wine. I'm not okay with liquor.
Okay.
Due to the proximity, there's enough liquor stores in the area, so I wouldn't have a problem with beer and wine. I would have a problem with a liquor off sale.
Okay.
I would agree, and I believe we've seen calls for service does go up. And when we get hard liquor on top of that, I would anticipate that even more go up. But the beer and wine, that's just part and parcel of the business operation. We may be, or the applicants may be seeing more hard liquor sold in gas stations, but I'm not sure that that's going to really expand. So, yeah, I'm not in favor of the hard liquor, beer and wine. Yeah, no problem with that.
All right, so is there a request or a motion to approve, deny, modify? Mr. Stevens, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I agree with my fellow commissioners. My concern was with the residents so close, but notification went out that the owners did not respond. And
Okay.
agree with fellow commissioners.
Then I'll make a motion to modify for a type 20 license versus type 21.
And direct staff to update the conditions of
And-
approval.
Correct.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Can we get a vote, please?
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes.
Commissioner Tinker,
Yes,
Commissioner Stevens,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Just noticing on the recommendations there, it also make a finding of public convenience. Is that going to be wrapped into the overall motion?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the agenda here. Item C3, right? Where did my agenda go? There it is. All right. Item C3, conditional use permit CUP 2023-0071 for Refuge Cigar Lounge located at 688 Beaumont Avenue. Staff report, please.
So at this time, staff is going to request that this item be continued off calendar without discussion.
Okay. You can make a comment.
thank you. I would like staff to look at when this comes back. I made a kind of a quick tour around it, and I think we need to take a very serious look at the ADA parking there.
So the reason that this item's been pulled for discussion is we received some comments based on the public notice that went out. So we're doing some research, and the ADA parking is something that we're looking at along with a couple of other concerns.
Okay, because that's some pretty uneven ground back there, so I don't see how we can, that's one of the things we need to take a look at. Thank you.
So with the recommendation to continue off calendar, we would not need to open a public hearing at this point. The project will be renoticed to the community at such a point that staff is more comfortable with moving forward with the applicant. So do we have a motion to continue?
I'll second.
So moved. I had to hit the button.
There you go. Thank you.
No comment.
All right, vote on this, please.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes.
Commissioner Tinker,
Yes,
Commissioner Stevens,
Yes.
Chairman Smith.
Yes. Okay. Item D, planning manager comments.
Okay, so I have a couple updates for you. Planning staff, all three of us did attend a Riverside County Fire Prevention Officer Training on June 20th. It was all-day training, so it was interesting to get the fire perspective and how planning kind of ties into that. I think we're trying to get a copy of the PowerPoint that was provided, so if any of you are interested in that, we're happy to share that with you. And then also on June 20th, we had city council that night, so our 23-24 budget was adopted, and part of that, it did include training for the commissioners that indicated they wanted to go to the Planning Commissioners Academy next year, so that's great news. We did also at that meeting have a discussion regarding short-term rentals. So that was a very lively discussion, and the staff will be going back with more information to the city council, but when we do have a draft ordinance, that will certainly be coming to this body first. Also at that meeting, there was a determination of use for dog boarding, training, and daycare in the downtown mixed use and local commercial with a conditional use permit. So at your next meeting, you will have a conditional use permit for those types of uses. And then regarding the objective design standards that you saw a couple months ago, today we had a call with the consultants and one of the council members that had significant comments on that. They are going to incorporate all the changes, and we look at that coming back either to your August 23rd meeting or your September 13th, and then it'll go on to city council. Our contract with this consultant expires on October 17th, so we're really trying to wrap that up. So you'll see that coming back.
Will that include a strike-through revision as well? Because I know we had a bunch of comments and discussion points as well, so that'd be helpful.
I can request that.
Thank you.
Another item that I'm going to be bringing back to the commission on August 23rd is some modifications to the pre-existing non-conforming use section of the code. We've run into a couple of issues because there's some language missing that has been problematic. So I will bring you a red line version copy of that, and that will be going on to city council in September. That's our anticipation.
So there will be a second meeting in August.
On the pre-existing non-conforming use?
Yeah.
Well, it will come to planning commission for a recommendation to city council.
Okay. You said August 23rd, so.
Yeah, August 23rd for planning commission, city council in September. And then I just wanted to update you, the Starbucks over on 4th Street is anticipating opening in the next 30 days.
Good.
So that's all that I have at this time.
See how many new drivers can't figure out the left turn there.
I'm looking forward to it. I know how to get in and out of there.
All right. Thank you. All right. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:24. Thank you.